So in addition to re-grabbing at the handle and the grip that I had showed you, also practice re-grabbing and going into fiber grip. So that would look something like that, or you can do it on the backs of your hands, and being able to use that slack and note. So what I'm doing is, again, soft anchor points. I'm letting it rest on my arm. I'm then inserting my other arm while I'm still anchoring it with my left hand, but then I'm changing hands while I'm grabbing with this hand, going. And it's not that I'm grabbing necessarily, but I'm just using that friction from in between my thumb and my pointer finger to be able to kind of almost grab it tiny bit before I insert my other arm. So that again was like this. And then you can grab, make a fixed anchor point and do that back and forth in between fiber grip instead of doing it from handle grip to handle to handle, that kind of thing. So I think another important thing for making your transition smooth and just, making everything flow together nicely is using the 2-point method. So the 2-point method, the concept is you're just making the two ends meet, whether that be a trace, a lace, and you're kind of guiding where the other thing is going, or where the tail side is following the handle side, that kind of thing. You also are going to do that again when you're doing that kind of like drop whip pendulum kind of thing. You want to guide that at some point to intersect with the tail side, or guide the tail side over to it. What that's going to do is it's going to connect everything. So that's one huge thing about a transition, right? You wanted to make it appear like it belonged, in that set of movements, that it, was intentional, or if it's something, random and you don't want to make the two ends meet, that can be intentional too, and you can use that for different times. And like, like a, beat, it's like, hard beat and a pause, you do like a stall or something like that, where then you're interrupting the flow of the whip with an intentional stop. So practice, you definitely want to be able to guide that fiber side over to the handle side. I think in a lot of things that people are like, well, how come my flow doesn't look smooth? And, when I do the fiber welding stuff, it looks choppy, that kind of thing. I think what's happening is that at first you're initially thinking so much on just moving the fiber side that a lot of people forget to actually do something with the tail side, or to guide the tail side at the same time. And that's just something also that's going to take drilling, practice, constantly doing, exploring. A lot of times when I transition from, this handle grip, the grip that I was showing you that I use a lot, to that, I will guide it over to my side. I found that that's just kind of like a slick way to kind of re-grab to where it looks like it's still traveling across me in the trajectory it was going. But then I'm just going to grab it and be like, go into something else from there. Just kind of, sneaky, throwing it in there. Or I will be doing something like that and come back off of it and guide my tail over. Notice that my tail side, though, was equally involved in the move, or in that, transition. Like this might have been doing the work, but this was also doing something. I mean, even if you can't make it totally intentional at first, or that's just a lot, and you're like, man, I'm really struggling to kind of access flow when I'm like thinking that hard about it, then just do something with it. I mean, the tail is so dynamic and so bright that, I mean, really, you should be able to cover up almost any mistake with it, or at least to, make it look prettier really super quick. So using the tail side, that's also crucial for transitioning. That's gonna enable, again, like I said, to just be able to connect everything, no matter what it is. If you're going into spins, tosses, whatever, just don't neglect the tail side, because then it's going to hang there, and it is going to make things look choppy. So definitely the 2-point method. So back when I first started whipping, besides, you know, getting help from some awesome other whippers and inspiration from the communities and stuff, what I would do is kind of kill two birds with one stone too, was I would record my practices. I was like super camera shy and I would always mess up on camera, so I just figured, hey, I'm just gonna, you know, record every practice and just go into it without the expectation that I'm gonna do something cool or that it's gonna turn out great. Like, if it doesn't, I can just delete it, right? So I was noticing though, when I was watching it back, that a lot of times the coolest things that I would do wouldn't come from the things that I was like intentionally trying to practice that day. It was actually coming from times when I would like make a mistake and force myself to roll with it. So again, like I was saying during the pendulum thing, you definitely want to give yourself that time though, when you do make a mistake, to pause and be like, okay, I keep doing this, or this is gonna be a common mistake, or even if it's not, if it's something and you're like, ooh, wait, that might, you know, be cool, or you watch it back and you're like, oh man, I thought that was gonna be like a total mess up and ended up looking awesome. Go back to that, watch what you were doing in that moment, and then just repeat it. And then bam, you have something totally unique. So anyways, learning to roll with the mistakes, that's crucial. Again, that's just that pause where you're gonna say, okay, what can I do from here? I drop it and it's on the floor now. Oh, but I can just pick it back up and go into this, or, you know, I can drop it and then I can make a shape and, you know, make it look intentional and, you know, whatever. Like I was saying before, a lot of things are gonna be based on illusion or based on perception. If you are doing something, even the most basic tricks look a lot better when you turn with them, right? I'm sure you guys have noticed that. When you stay still and you stay in one spot and you're always facing forward and you never turn around with your moves, it can't ever change dimension. It can't ever kind of have like 3D effect. You know, you have to like turn with moves and stuff like that for it to appear smooth. So that's another thing. You know, this here is cool, but if I then go into this here and then bring it back around, and now I'm back like this, and I'm turning, that looked a lot cooler than if I was just, like I said, standing here and then doing this and then kind of moving it around in front of me. Like, yeah, that might still look cool, but it doesn't look nearly as cool as if I was like turning with it. That also kind of goes along with knowing your planes, knowing which plane you're on, knowing how to change planes. One thing that's going to be able to enable you to do that is passing it behind your body. Again, that's another big thing where pendulums come in. They're very helpful, is knowing when to trade hands and how far out you need them to go. Maybe bring it in front of you, do that thing in front of you. Practice even catching it, catching it, catching it, catching it, catching it behind your back. Just like the same like with this. Just like up there, that's going to enable you to do a lot of things from there. That's a more versatile grip if I'm just holding it like this, because then I don't feel restricted to have to move my hand in a certain way. Okay, so like I was saying though, let's say I go back here, re-grab, just like in the front, practice making, you know, being mindful. Okay, I'm right here, where can I go from here? What maybe feels comfortable that I can do? I can pass it off, that kind of thing. Drop it, go, you know, grab it again, whatever, from there. So also from the back too, you can practice handing it off in fiber grip like this, and then that can also help you learn behind the back spins. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kind of turn in the direction of the spin with your hip, so just your hip only. So I'm swinging on my left side, my left hip is coming this way, I'm swinging down towards the floor. I'm going to turn to my front when I want to switch my hands, and then as it's coming up and it's in my right hand, I'm gonna switch hands again when it's up, But as I go up, I'm going to turn my body forward. Right now I have my right hip, it's in my right hand, my right hip is faced that way. I'm going to turn towards the front when I go to switch hands, and then my left hip is going to turn when I'm facing left, and it's back on my left hip. And then I can go back, not like that. Then I can go back into the doing pendulums behind my back, like this. Or switching it underneath my legs, bringing it back to the front, you know, things like that.